Generate and heal from any stress-induced damage. This stress
are things that can cause damage to a biological system. So the
lower, and I think that is a piece of collateral damage that has been done to the American public by these agents.
In that respect, and the damage it can do to an organization. So how does that work in your system?
Floor, maybe damage the stage. But if we did this experiment on
when the damage to our mother is irreversible.
Out the window at the opposite point, you do billions of dollars worth of damage to your port and your tanker as it.
So there's less issues with possible damage to the rail.
Sure. Well, I remember we heard about this a couple. They won't have any statistics about the health damage from alcohol. They won't have.
Try to undo the damage done by this propaganda to the fabric of Russian society. But
tragedy of the anemic recovery we have been through these last 5 years is the damage it's done to
who were happy and didn't care, but figured that they could get away with damage or they could get away with drinking.
When we draw a red line, the head of the regime that is inflicting most of the damage on
today. More than half may come from broken families, and they may feel like the message that they're damaged in some way or shortchanged. And
insights and also potentially overcome damage or dysfunction of the brain. And here's another study using
damage to people's lives. So that just struck me.
The damage from a wrong story lasts a lot longer than the glow from a
myth, and enough damage has been done to sharks over the years. But by the same token, I don't want to
a whole monopoly with. Like, we are adults trying to undo the damage that all that well-meaning training did. Well, let's change
experience of the violence and of the damage that violence can cause. Their parents do, their older brothers.
Or what today we call euphemistically collateral damage of legitimate effort.
Havoc in the body. It creates free radicals. It creates tissue damage, and a lot of other things that science doesn't.
Every weekend, but I could never seem to repair the damage that had been done because of the
and probably damage to the work product. So I'm not at all
healed while they're still inside, so they don't do major damage to themselves and the
looked at controlling for the amount of damage that occurred. They looked at what was the single.
Probably, I think the scariest cases were trauma cases where there was massive liver damage, because the bleeding from that is very.
Not to try to overthrow government and not to do damage to anything. We have a right to speak.
We know that the tragedy and the damage that can come out of hurricanes. This was a hurricane that did not hit
and cause very serious economic damage. And we should be taking every measure we.
Yeah, so some of the damage is already done and will be hard to reverse. But in
high point, we'd already done some damage through what had been taken out. But it was...
after he'd done all this damage is when he wrote about faith. And it is... the
cost might be. Unfortunately, lots of the damage was in underinsured or uninsured areas. It was in poor areas.
As we get some clarity about the damage and what needs to be done, and so in answer to your question, does that damage